Back. Jay Core, thanks for the heads up on the emails. I made sure just to go ahead and date it correctly, resend it to both Core and CTM. We got that out. News on Tesla. I don't know if this is news. Prior to yesterday's announcement that they are getting rid of the electric vehicle incentives, I think that it was discussed and talked about Elon acknowledging that Tesla did not need those incentives. I think that's a good thing overall. It looks like the market yesterday was reacting to Tesla off. I don't remember, but 5% or so last I checked, and I think it was a reaction to that news. But I don't think that was new news personally. We are seeing the markets, traditional markets, react strongly to Powell yesterday. And granted, markets were selling off, taking out structure prior to Powell even speaking. In the lead up to Powell speaking, NASDAQ and equity market indexes accelerating downward. And then Powell acknowledged that they're actually in no rush to be cutting rates in light of the recent data. This puts the market in a situation where actually the stag and the inflation might come into the picture. Right now, though, we have seen expectations for rate hikes into December marked down and into January as well. So that is a continuing piece. In light of that, Bitcoin has reacted very, very well. It had an excuse to sell off if it wanted to. It is continuing to hang in there after this massive leg up. And you could see that. Before we begin, if you would, just give me 1 second here. I want to make sure that we got the magic highlighter pointer so that we could just make this a little bit easier here together. So, robot mode, Ace. I love it. We'll talk about it in just a moment. Yeah, I meant to pull up some slides. At first, it started as a potential rumor that Cardano, amongst other chains, right? Some of those other chains were the Hedra. You all know me, and I focus on the king. It looks like 4 different chains looking to establish voter ID. Look, I don't know, on the blockchain. It's all very crazy and scary. There are people there that have a actual legitimate cause for concern. Any cause for concern is legitimate, I suppose. Like, we are Bitcoiners. Don't trust, verify. And some people think that, what Elon's plan for X, the all-in-one system, is, once X started basically KYCing people, and there are concerns. And then as you go ahead and you move towards anyone who wants to vote in the United States, and look, I don't mean to get political. I want to get into the markets because there's a lot to talk about today, and we want to have a lot of fun. We want to have some fun discussions, and we want to talk about why, most of all, you should be adjusting your cycle view and now. So we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about all of that stuff. But before we do, and by the way, Dogecoin is another one that the meme of memes, the original meme coin is one that's chosen to be a part of that situation. If this is instituted, would this affect an actual real demand and price increase for these tokens? Or is it maybe going to see, because of some hype, you're seeing Cardano first pumping 50%, then a small retrace, now adding 60. I don't know. I just know we're on the right side of the trade. And I know we make sure that we're on the right side. And that's what we're here for. So you can see Cardano here. We're in this open trade, and it's now building into 82% into profit. And for us, it's just another individual trade. It's just robot mode. We're here to execute. Someone in the comments yesterday was like, "What? How do I know that's real? Like, how do I know that like you guys just don't keep adjusting these returns?" And CTM 2.0 has been forward tested now in a live environment for over 2.5 years, coming up on 2.5 years. CTMX is about 14 months, all live. There's only been one adjustment on CTMX on Ethereum, and that was changing the stop loss from 13% to 3% on the buy side. That was like a year ago, whatever, in Discord, the exact dates of the one adjustment. At the time, that was forsaking overall profitability. We did, like, when you're dealing with such, but I don't have anything to prove to you at all. The 90% of the people in here are CTM, and they're executing the same strategies for the same time. We are basically a closed group. Now, moving on, because that's, I mean, people might see 83% and like, wow, what are you talking about? It's just another individual trade. You don't really care. No, we're here to just completely execute. That's what we're going for, right? Beautiful. So, all right, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, but we were talking about Tesla, and then we were talking about potential voter ID and why that sounds good, because cheating is bad. We need fair elections. I'm not so sure there's anything wrong with going down to the polling station and presenting an ID, though. I mean, could there be forgeries? Is it hard? Maybe. Does it get worrisome when we start going digital ID? And then is it a lot easier to go into digital CBDC or digital dollar or what have you? And then eventually, when I go to, if I'm traveling and I stop over on pull off the highway and I want to buy a water, am I only allowed to pay through them scanning my retinas and face? That's the scary part, right? So, listen, if you're delicate, if you're delicate, if you're emotional, this is not the place for you. We keep it real here. We're super real. We talk about hard things. We talk about difficult things. All right. Tesla, looking back in the long run, I mean, so it's hard to say. Tesla's future, if Optimus is a part of that, and there'll be massive competition, but Tesla's got network effects. It's got that brand loyalty type going on. I mean, are you buying a Tesla Optimus, or are you buying a bison buffalo exchange, whatever? You know what I'm saying? I'd probably go with the Optimus, or I guess what's the best product at the end of the day. But there we are. Let's keep going. Let's get started. I should say the relative strength of Bitcoin today is impressive. And you can see that it's consolidating these gains very well. Hey, on the 2-hour time frame, is that a Wyckoff distribution with the spring right here developing? What is, you guys all remember in 2021 when we had because I don't care what happens. I just want to know what's happening and be on the right side of it. But let's just jump over here. And part of what we do here is this continuing education where each and every day we show up, we put the work in, and we're here to learn. And then we look back and we're like, look how far we've come and look how much we've learned. So I'm coming back to this area. I'm on the 8-hour time frame, and I'm in March of 2021. And you could see that we have, well, first I'm going to call this a left shoulder, because a lot of people right here would have thought this was a head and shoulders developing, I imagine. So I'm just going to call it a left shoulder, but it should be called number 1, then 2, and then I guess that's not the spring. I guess this is the lead into it. 1, 2, spring, lower high, and then whether or not I think that this is the right way to draw it, let me just bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and clone this, and I want to touch these two. So I want to, what's going on? There you go. I want to touch here and here to see what's happening. All right. And so it's not very clean. So you see all the wicks above in the 8-hour? That's perfect structure. That's a perfect touch. We didn't touch here, but I imagine the breakdown here is probably the best trigger. The other way that's probably done and could be done, and this gets wildly subjective, is, are you looking here? And that's a good look. and then you're stopped out. And then you move it back over here, and that's the best look. This is like what we call CTM 1.0 discretionary TA. And although we trade mechanical, we want to be the best at everything. And I know a lot of people really appreciate the way that we look at our TA because it's completely unique and different from everything else out there. It offers a real edge. So, I mean, is that true? I was just listening to some Luke shared a video inside the discretionary channel yesterday about like all these advancements in humanoid robots and whatnot, and it seems like that there's a lot of people opting for competition. But so that's cleaner, but I don't know that that's correct. And then what do you mean? I don't know that's correct. I mean, are you trying to sell in a massive uptrend? And this is a massive uptrend. Are you trying to sell every single local high? I wouldn't be doing that. We weren't doing that. We were definitely on the right side. It was over here at $50,000. I blame Elon here. Elon sold Bitcoin here of Tesla. What a mistake he made for many reasons. Because his Tesla's holdings are now valued above $1 billion, and he would have more. But either which way, at $50,000, we were like, something's wrong, get neutral. We were expecting a sharp move upwards. It didn't happen. Point being, that was a Wyckoff distribution. Are we seeing that now on the 2-hour time frame? Let's take a look with that in mind. And I'm jumping over, and I don't have that little left shoulder that I was talking about. So is that 1-2? Is that the spring? Are you really concerned about it? I'm concerned about everything. I just want to be able to get it all right. I'm moving structure up over here, and I don't really see anything, so I'm not changing anything. What I do want to point out is this, though. You ready? Do you see this little spike up? Do you see right now that we continue to hold right over here, this resistance? We talked yesterday. We briefly snuck a below, and then it was held as resistance. I mean, as support. And then here it's holding as resistance still. We did spike above there. If you go ahead and you just take a look at what we spiked up to by moving the structure, do you see that? Here's the spike. Here is where on the small time frame it was trying to establish support. Here it's where it's resistance. So that's like a buffer level that's completely relevant and belongs there. And in order for us to be looking to resume upwards, we could look at like some type of like CTM 1.0 breakout, but you would have bit here, right? You would have bit here. And you see how structure is more accurate? We need to clear above here in order for us to be thinking that we're going to be resuming up. If you look at CTM 1.0 and how we're navigating that, 2.0, sorry, you remember we just closed that big trade, 26%. And I said, if we resume up, we'll be back in the market. We almost were this morning entering a long pending, but right before the entry, price was on the defensive. It avoided the entry. We have an enter long pending. It's 6 hours from now. If we're going to be moving up and we're moving up with authority, the relative strength looks nice versus the equity markets right now, but that could change. We could see a reversal in equity markets and Bitcoin go boom, next leg up. We could see by the end of the day, Bitcoin get dragged down. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're getting ready here for potential another entry out on the Bitcoin. So that's just a discretionary look coupled with our with our mechanical strategy. I was reading this. Thoughts on micro strategy. Well, very soon. So like right now we trade out on the daily time frame, CTM 2.0, TQQQ, NVIDIA, FNGU, and Tesla. Tesla's still holding that open position 10%. And then we're seeing as the markets are getting rocked, NVIDIA stop loss on TQQQ, TQQQ, tagging a stop loss over here. 6.84 max stop loss as the NASDAQ is nosediving. NVIDIA is still holding open profit Is it getting ready to close? I'm talking about MicroStrategy. I'm just working my way in and making sure we take a look at this and get this out of the way. So very close here to exiting this trade out on NVIDIA, unless the NASDAQ's able to wind up, making a violent move up to the upside and wick. It looks like NVIDIA is getting ready to close. And then you look at FNGU. Let's see what that looks like as far as whether it's holding or getting ready to close. And it's working its way down. It's still holding this open position, but it's getting ready if the momentum continues down to close it. But it's still a nice hold. We're just coming into this local area of support. So we'll see how we navigate. And then we have Tesla. And Tesla on the breakout after the Trump win, finally hold it. So Tesla looks like it's after the EV announcement, the pressure, its relative strength today is pretty strong, huh? Tesla is green and we're holding and we're not close here to letting go of this one. So this is all mechanical. And the question about MicroStrategy and my thoughts, these are two like templates that we've been forward testing now for a little while. And one's on the daily and one's on the 1 hour. Which everything we have for stocks, we trade on the daily, which is super easy because you have like roughly 8 to 10, 12 trades a year. Unless you're in a bear market, then you're just chilling out on the sideline, preserving your capital, not doing anything. And on the 1 hour time frame during regular trading hours, right? 1 hour templates are more profitable. These daily templates are extraordinarily profitable, especially this is going back 4 years. Right? You know what? The best of the best and what they've been able to do in the markets. So here's MicroStrategy. It's holding an open position. So we're looking to get V3 templates out and MicroStrategy's in that lineup. However, there's no urgency because this trade is continuing to hold and it's not exiting. So it's not, there's nothing else to do. But I would not approach MicroStrategy any other way. Right? Here's the 1 hour template. Out on the sidelines after this massive run up, lots of in and outs. Let's see what that looks like. I don't want to. This is not a closed script. I want to do that right now. So for MicroStrategy is hindsight is everything. The best way to learn going forward is to really focus on, especially where you make mistakes, right? And ingrain it into your heart, into your mind, into your psyche. And it works a lot of different ways. One of the things about trading, especially if you're discretionary trading, is that it's almost the pursuit of perfection. And there's always room where you could have actually done better. And that's a difficult thing to kind of reconcile and deal with because there's always room where to improve and what you could have done better on execution throughout the day. I'm not participating in that trade. It's a great trade. That's just us forward testing our model on MicroStrategy. I don't know anyone inside CTM that from a mechanical standpoint is participating in that trade. We're just working towards the launch of MicroStrategy into V3. There's lots to be bullish about in many different ways. And that's some of the things that I want to talk about and continue forward over here. So right now, we're looking at a bullish little near-term price action as far as Bitcoin is consolidating underneath resistance and especially why equity markets are under pressure. That's bullish. That's bullish. Jeffrey, you're a fun guy, dude. You're a fun guy. It sounds like mumbo jumbo because I'm simply do not have the ability to do difficult things. I just want to know, Bitcoin go boom. Bitcoin go boom. Yeah. Oh, wait, it went down 70%. I'm mad and I'm emotional. Jeffrey, I'm an emotional guy. I'm an emotional guy who likes easy things. Tell me what's going to happen. Because I don't want to work and I don't want to put the work in. Mumbo jumbo. Mumbo jumbo. Jeffrey, you don't fit in here. You don't belong here. You're useless. So it's just not going to work, my man. Well, he doesn't have a choice. He's gone. It takes a lot of work to do what we do because there's nothing normal about it. There's a major difference between out here on the public and working in a closed environment. And what we have and the environment that we built is absolutely unique, elite, supportive, everyone willing to work hard, put the work in, and do legendary things. A lot of people aren't going to make it. That's okay. I mean, everyone is called. It's up to you. So anyway, all right. I'll take a brief, Alberto. I'll take a brief look at gold, and then I want to get into this Bitcoin discussion because that's really the heart of today's topic over here. So let me pull up I'm looking at the 10-year. This is gold. So I'm going to keep it real. We were bang on on Twitter, of course, here in our streams on the breakout and expectations of this massive cup and handle on gold. And we said, first, we have the first fib over here. Now we didn't tag it. Second fib over here. We said gold's not stopping at, I don't know if we said 2,500 or 2,800. It's not stopping there. And a lot of people right now are focused on what they're calling the rotation out of gold and into Bitcoin. And I don't really know about any of that. All I know is that before we tagged our potential target, when we were over here in this zone over here, we said, you know what? This is the first time since the breakout that we talked about any potential retracement for gold. And I think this is probably a good area. And of course, I don't know. I never know. And then we have this black diamond entry, right? You can see price over there, piercing it, breakdown, retest, and then coming into the conservative line. So if this breaks down and you have the lower line over here, expect a further acceleration. But right now we're into support and price is holding and fighting with the support. It's holding with the support. So if you're a swing trader, you're looking for, and you can see that it pierced above. Now I did what I just showed you. Here's a black diamond entry and a conservative entry going the other way, right? So if you took this trade, this is a great opportunity to take profit and or add to your close your full position. Waiting for you get to close above that purple line, which is close to it today. It's not. It's below it. It's close to it. I'd be looking on the daily. You get to close above, then you're running it back the other way with your stop loss now below here. If you close below this line over here, I expect further pressure down. And then the only way that you know when that's over is be looking for a resumption out upward. So I don't have thoughts on gold, except that gold is definitely being bought up by central banks. We've seen for a long time the continuous stacking by Russia, China, Russia now moving into supposedly silver. We see we know that gold is extremely manipulated and suppressed, and which is why one of the cautions about Bitcoin, by the way, I was talking with a friend who has been with CTM since the very early launch, and he was like, do you remember in early 2020 when everyone out on the streams got so mad at you because you pivoted from trading currencies and becoming Bitcoin centric? You saw it when few others saw it, and people couldn't deal with you pivoting into what you felt was going to be the correct place to be. And in hindsight now, well, that similar thing happened, right? When we moved from CTM 1.0 into CTM 2.0, into mechanical, we went from discretionary to mechanical. At the time, a lot of people could not deal with change and or the adjustment and or see the value. Those that have been through it, they understand. No one could have foreseen where we are today. And it could happen again. There are concerns about what could happen with Bitcoin. And listen, let's just make sure that we're not afraid to question anything, including some powerful entities that are getting themselves involved right now. So this looks like a very healthy, normal pullback on gold to me thus far. Would I be surprised if we came down and tested where we based out over here before the breakout, as far as even where I'm drawing this horizontal resistance down into here? No. And if we break down below here, that's the area that I'm watching. Could we hold here, resume up? Of course. Rather than having any type of ideas, what we use is our edge of technical analysis and make sure that we stay on the right side. We got to see it happen right here on the 10-year as like contrary to market expectations or most market expectations at the time, we were able to do a good job positioning ourselves there as well as on the dollar at the same time. Dollar moving into an area. It's got a little bit of room. It could continue higher over here. I'm looking over here at this structure right over here. That's a good place to look for it. For an aggressive breakdown that everyone doesn't see coming, what would it look like? That's about as aggressive we could get. So we would have to break down in this area. We'll put it in there now. It's worthy, and we'll watch it. But obviously, as tariffs are entering the conversation and picture, dollar here continues to go bid. Same thing happened on 1.0. Only the strong survive. All right, so let's keep going. Where we want to get back to Bitcoin. I want to get back to Bitcoin over here and take a look at what's going on. And so we're at a particular stage. Like, let me get on topic. And the topic of today's discussion is adjust your Bitcoin cycle view now. And I'm going to come back to this slide here that many of you are familiar with in just a moment. Before I do, this is like just an old chart in looking for this one that I pulled up. And so cool as we're just looking at structure. We love structure. And just to show you, well, let's extend this out over here because we're coming into an area that we should watch out for. I want to know what this is. This is showing me. So do you see this line is wrong? Do you see the resistance here and the resistance there? So now I'm just going to, I had it off of this line, I assume. It's the same structure, but you see the market is paying attention to this right now. So I want to be as exact as possible. Interesting. That's somewhere right, like just above 101. What does that look like for us over here? Let's take a look. This line right here. This line right here is the same line. So this is like more of a zoomed out view. That's an area that we want to watch. And then just for fun, last thing for fun so I can move on is let's take a look at what that high looked like. It's going to borrow that line and put it in. So you could see that like I could go from down here or up to here. I'm going to go kind of just in the middle and more where the market was most recently paying attention to. And that's what we'll leave in there for now. So we're looking at this today. We're looking at this on Twitter. And one of the things that I believe and notice is that when price makes the move up from the 0.786 retracement fib and it shoots up, it's not, here you go, shoot up. Now this was a double wave, but it was a quick, sharp acceleration with no consolidation. And then the consolidation happened mid-cycle. In this particular case, it was a quick, sharp move up. We had a mess. I blame Elon. And then we had a price suppression. I blame FTX, Galaxy, BlockFi, and all of the shenanigans that took place. Some people blame the China banning on the mining, but that's ridiculous. The hash rate was back up and, and then to new all-time highs in no time at all. But where we consolidated for a while, then we had a long march up, a tremendous bull market of 2017. This time we didn't swing straight up. We've been consolidating for a long time and consolidating twice the length of this. This suggests to me that potentially what we're looking at is going to be a tremendous bull market that is going to be longer lasting. And even in time-wise, longer lasting than this one. And look, just for fun over here, from the time of the breakout to the top, that was 375 days, 1 year. The consolidation this time, though, was twice as long. What happens if the bull market were twice as long? What happens if the bull market was going 700 days, taking us into kind of where my expectations are? Things get good as far as monetary policy aligning into late and the seasonalities we know of in 2025. So that's interesting. They would be topping around the same time, fourth quarter of the year, but we had the breakout much sooner this cycle, well ahead of the halving. Now, a lot of people and some good questions come up. I was pointing out to people out there on the Twitter, like, what do you see happening over here and the things that I just explained to you? And there were some good assessments, like the all-time high prior to the halving created the biggest consolidation phase ever. That's actually what we just said, right? Above, nice qualifier, above the previous all-time high, which is not something that I just reviewed. This consolidation down over here is happening at the all-time high. So that's not too much different, actually. Quite bullish. But yes, this one's happening. Well, it's the same place. Price made a new all-time high, but the consolidation is happening at the same place. It's happening on the 0.786 retracement fib. So hey, we're trying to be as accurate as possible. A bull run has never occurred with a consolidated phase. So it has occurred. 2017 did occur, Brad. And that's not anyway, good insight, good comment. So a lot of people are looking for a potential, like, when's the blow off top and what's that going to look like? And that's what I want to caution against a little bit. It's hard for me to imagine having a blow off top with this type of market cap, and wherever that top is, what the market cap will be around that time. Is it possible? I mean, there's chatter right now that there must be a nation state at the bid. I mean, we've seen a massive amount of inflows. MicroStrategy on the bid, $2 billion. Inflows into the spot ETFs in 1 week, over $3 billion. That's $5 billion at the bid. Obviously, there's reason to see this market cap moving. We know that the inflows into ETFs is roughly between 1/3 to, I don't want to say a half if it's at its maximum, maybe. But there's a lot of other flows coming in outside of the spot ETFs, especially during normal market days. Could there be a nation state at the bid? Could there be a potential strategic? A lot of people are skeptical about the U.S. actually taking a Bitcoin strategic reserve. I did see, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but I have it bookmarked for you all. There was a state that just proposed legislation in order to go ahead and take a strategic reserve. That's not something that I was considering. Imagine you have different states, even within the U.S., beginning to decide that they want to take Bitcoin reserves. We've seen small cities do it. We've seen small countries do it. By the way, if you look at a state like, I was going to pick one off the top of my head, Texas. If you look at Houston, just a city in Texas, Houston alone would be like the 23rd largest economy in the world. So forget like cities in the United States. Imagine you have the state of Texas, the state of Florida, the state of Tennessee. Who knows? You add this, and is it possible? I don't know. Is it possible that you're seeing things like a Middle Eastern country now trying to front run the potential of the US government taking a reserve? Possibly. Maybe. There could be lots of reasons for accelerated buying. We've talked about tech companies, if they begin stacking Bitcoin, how that could really, there's game theory. Like, actually, we all know at first gradually and then rapidly coming more into the picture. But what I believe happens in this next stage, and this includes the bull market that we're currently in. And by the way, you all know that I am a firm believer in diminishing returns on Bitcoin under S curve adoption is not a thing. Eventually, it will be disproven. Now, if you're looking at tracking Bitcoin from the top to cycle top, that's about, and I don't have the exact today, but about $270,000 Bitcoin. We should track it off what the bear market low was to the high, and then the low to the high, just to get an idea of what that would be. And just since I have no idea and I just want to know, here's the low. And by the way, the high's over here. Most people track the high over here, but prior to the halving, the high is over here. Look at that mega gain. What type of price would we need to see to beat diminishing returns off of the low? That's a big number. Is it going to happen this cycle? I don't know. You don't know either. But eventually diminishing returns is going to be disproven. And by the way, we also know one thing also, and a lot of people are probably going to get this wrong. No one was talking about a far right leaning cycle. We saw this new all-time high tagged before the halving. There's nothing that suggests if the US begins massive QE at some point in 2026, that top is not running into 2027 or 8. Who knows? But what I suspect is going to happen is not some type of like similar behavior that we've seen. And there's nothing similar about this behavior. Look where the high came in. The high came in, not over here in the zone it has in the past. It came in much later. Yes, there was a big bear market in between. My expectations that we're going to see, and we've talked about this a lot, into this area of ultimate market opportunity, when you see other instruments that have gone under S-curve adoption, what happens after the first hype phase, and then thereafter able to make it through the facing reality. This was us, early adopters. Now we're into the early majority. Wall Street is here. Look at that. We're just making it in now. And everyone is clearly able to see the mega difference from just over a year ago in what's taking place and transforming over here. Over here, people are like, it's going to take the industry so long to recover after what we saw happen with FTX, Galaxy, BlockFi. And now everyone's like, nation state FOMO, bro. You know? And what happens in this area is that price doesn't become as erratic to the swings up and down as it was in the past. What happens is normally it sets off on an ascent that's within a channel, whatever that channel looks like. Exponential gains are to be had, and it looks like something like that. That is, now I'm not trying to suggest by any means that we're looking at by 2030 $3.5 million Bitcoin. I'm just trying to here make squiggly lines, right? You know, but I'm trying to give you what I believe are the correct expectations to have this time of cycle. And that's where we're going to leave it here on this Friday. Everyone, have a beautiful weekend. God bless you. I'll see you all on Monday. Yeah, of course we could look at Ethereum. Bitcoin bull market still holding the run. Ethereum here. By the way, CTM 2.0 is not even close to letting go of that trade. But here we are on CTMX. And so we know that we had our filters keeping us out of this trade. We were talking yesterday after the session, and the discussion was, regarding ST1, ST2, how when there's strong momentum, they keep you out. And the thing is that if you remove them, right? If I were to go ahead and, well, let me just get, if I remove, I'll take off ST1 first. Look at the performance. Not bad. The drawdown stays the same, and the overall return is definitely diminished, and it doesn't take us into that trade. What about ST2? That would have put us in that trade. You see, we'd be holding that trade, and a lot of people are like, yeah, if the trade's in profit, I want to be in it. Like if there's a potential to be in a trade, open 15%, I want to be in it. But look at the drawdown and look at the overall profit when not including that. That's why it's there. Overall, it's there to protect us, not on this individual trade, but overall. And that's how we view things. So that's why it's there. Now, is it possible that we could come up with some type of ability to know when momentum is kicking so hard that we should not be using ST2 on any templates? Yes, it is. And I wonder, and I don't know when that would be or how that would look like. I know other people have ideas. And I'm trying to look like, so my initial thought was, well, we've seen strong Momo when we get above the 0.786 retracement area. And if we would have took it off above here, like what would have happened during that area? Right? So I could start off on Bitcoin. And I'm going to go from March 14th, where we topped out. If we didn't have ST2 as we're trading above, no difference in profit. And I don't know if that's March. Hold on one second. I hope you can follow me. This should be February 6, 24, but there's an open trade that won't affect it. So that's not, maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe that's not a bad idea. I mean, that's pretty elementary, but something to think about. All right, everyone. I'll see you all back. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you all on Monday.